Welcome to the video on equal employment opportunity as well as our hospital's social media policy. As you are aware, we have a responsibility to take steps to prevent discrimination, bullying and harassment at our hospital and to ensure that EEO is upheld at all times. I would appreciate it if you can stay focused and pay attention to this short video about EEO.
Our hospital is an equal opportunity employer and we have zero tolerance for harassment, bullying, discrimination and victimisation in the workplace. Our hospital is committed to providing a workplace environment which is fair, supportive and rewarding, embraces diversity and respects people's differences and is free from unlawful discrimination. Our hospital also recognises and rewards employees based on merit and provides employees with equal opportunity to apply and develop their ability and achieve their potential. Employees must be treated fairly and without unlawful discrimination in all aspects of employment, including recruitment, training and development, promotion, conditions of employment, transfer and termination. In addition, as individuals, all employees are obligated to promote equal opportunity and role model appropriate behaviours, to treat each other respectfully and fairly, respect differences among colleagues and customers, prevent discrimination and harassment against others, and act promptly on any complaints. This also extends to off-site work events, for example projects, work functions and external training.
All workers must adhere to Ramsay's Health's discrimination, bullying and harassment policy, which can be found on the intranet as well as relevant state and federal legislation. Who is covered? Every worker at the hospital is covered by the EEO policy. For example,
I'm a volunteer.
I work for Sullivan Nicolaides Pathology.
I work for Ramsay Pharmacy.
I'm a hospital medical officer.
I'm a registered nurse.
I am a catering services assistant.
as you can see, every individual in the workplace is covered.
Now let's talk about bullying. Bullying is defined as repeated, unreasonable behaviour directed towards an employee or a group of employees that creates a risk to health and safety. Whether the behaviour is unreasonable is determined as to whether a reasonable person in society would find that behaviour to be unwelcome, intimidating, harassing, etc. All employees have obligations under workplace health and safety law to ensure their safety and the safety of others at work. At work can include events that arise out of the course of your employment. Therefore, work could also be considered to be on your lunch break, work trips, or working from home. Bullying undermines an individual's rights to dignity at work and creates an unsafe place to work. All employees have obligations under workplace health and safety law to ensure their own safety and the safety of others at work. Bullying in the workplace can take many different forms.
Getting called names is bullying.
Having graffiti written about me is bullying.
Getting unjust criticism can be conceived as bullying.
I consider getting offensive emails as bullying.
These are all examples of bullying that is not tolerated at our hospital. It is important to note that there are some cases which do not constitute bullying, such as performance management, direct or forthright management styles, personality conflicts or change to work arrangements due to business needs. Our performance management structure adheres to all policies and legislation. For example, disciplinary action and promotion decisions are not bullying if it was reasonable for management action to be taken and the actions were carried out in a reasonable way. I would now like to share an example of bullying with you. This could be considered as bullying. This behaviour could make the person feel isolated, bullied, embarrassed and excluded. It is important to remember, to be considered bullying, it is not just about the colleague's intentions performing the act, it is also how the individual perceives it. This behaviour should be reported.
I'm going to talk about harassment. Harassment is unwanted and unwelcomed behaviour which reasonably causes another person to feel distressed, intimidated, insulted, threatened or humiliated. It is irrelevant as to whether or not the appropriate behaviour was intended to offend, humiliate or intimidate. It is how it is perceived. Sexual harassment is similar to harassment and can include behaviours such as unsolicited acts of a physical nature, unwelcome advance, unwelcome requests for sexual favours, unwelcome conduct of a sexual nature or posters, pictures, screensavers of an inappropriate nature. Harassment or sexual harassment can occur during or outside of work hours where it is related to work and may occur in the workplace or at work-related events.
Hey, listen, did you tell Rayleigh I left early yesterday?
It wasn't me.
Are you sure?
I don't know anything about it.
Yeah.
In this example, you can ascertain that harassment has occurred by the verbal comments and text messages containing an inappropriate comment. This type of behaviour would not be tolerated at our hospital. As a reminder, harassment can occur inside or outside work hours where it is related to work.
Getting threatening messages is harassment.
People spreading rumours about me is harassment.
I consider being touched without my permission as harassment.
I would like to bring this case to your attention, Gera versus Owen 2013. In this case, Miss Owen was sexually harassed on 4 occasions by a contract working for her employer. She reported it to her manager, who said he needed the contractor to finish the job and he had never had the pleasure of having a sexual fantasy at work. At a work function they both attended, Miss Owen was sexually harassed and as a result suffered emotional trauma caused by the sexual harassment, and she could no longer continue to work for the company and resigned. She was awarded $500,000 to compensate for economic loss, pain and suffering.
There are a number of consequences to bullying, harassment and sexual harassment which don't just include the person's well-being and mental state. There is compensation, the cost of medical care and counselling, damage to reputation, legal costs and the list goes on. There are also a number of other consequences to inappropriate behaviour which could include but is not limited to counselling, termination, prosecution, absenteeism and conflict. However, the most important aspect is the human consequences. No person deserves to be bullied or harassed.
Another aspect that has become very prevalent in today's society is social media, and therefore the need for our social media policy. Social media includes external sources such as Facebook, Twitter, YouTube and Instagram. As a reminder, when engaging on social media, you need to respect confidentiality and be sure that any company-related content you share is already publicly available. If you are unsure, you should not publish any information without checking with your manager firstly. You can avoid damage by obtaining proper and prior consent before disclosing a person's personal information. Remember to think before you post on social media and always show care and respect in all communications. When on social media, you need to be clear about who you are and who you represent. Always use your own name, be transparent and clear, and if you make a mistake, admit it. There are consequences for failing to adhere to our social media policy, such as disciplinary action including termination of your employment. For further information, refer to the media policy found on Ramsay Health intranet. This is a prime example of inappropriate use of social media. Amanda has posted inappropriate comments about her work environment, specifying the hospital and ward that she was on at the time in a way that can be seen to bring the company name into disrepute. This is a significant breach of company policy, and what people don't seem to realise is once it's there, it's there. Amanda and her post are real and did end up in Amanda's employment being terminated. She took her employer for unfair dismissal, however was unsuccessful. Once it's there, it's there.
As you would be aware, there is a complaints procedure that is followed in the event of an EEO issue. If you have witnessed or are a victim to an EEO issue, you need to report it immediately to an EEO officer, supervisor, manager or HR. The matter can then be investigated and can be dealt with appropriately. The complaint may be dealt with informally through mediation or formally by further investigation, and disciplinary outcomes may arise. Accordingly to the Anti-Discrimination Act 1991, all complaints must be made within 1 year of the alleged contravention of the Act. Discrimination, harassment and victimisation will not be tolerated at our hospital. People participating in these practices are risking their employment. If you see these issues, bring them to the attention of the appropriate person immediately. As a reminder, our Employee Assistance Program is always contactable. Optum provides employees and their immediate family members a free, confidential counselling service to assist with the resolution of personal and/or work-related problems. There are a number of EEO officers available on site that are in different departments that can be contacted for assistance if required.
I am an EEO officer and I do not stand for bullying.
I'm an EEO officer and I believe in a zero tolerance workplace.
I'm an EEO officer and I don't discriminate.
I'm an EEO officer and I believe in a diverse organisation.
I am an EEO officer and I'm here to listen.
I'm an EEO officer and I don't stand for bullying and harassment.
I am an EEO officer and together we can build a safe working environment free of bullying and harassment.
I'm an EEO officer and I'm here for you.
Together we can create a working environment free of bullying and harassment.